everybody, it is Kelly Nielsen here, the Grief Guru. And on this channel, we discuss all things related to grief. What does it look like? What does it feel like? But more importantly, we share tips, tools, and resources on how to move through grief and get back to living a life that you love. On today's episode, we're going to be sharing tips and products to help restore sleep when you're grieving. That is one of the most common side effects that people report is disruption in their sleep. And even if you're not going through grief, if you go too long without sleep, it's going to affect every other area of your life and make it that much harder to deal with the emotional weight of grief and grieving. So restoring sleep, or at least doing everything that we can to restore sleep, is one of the very first things that we suggest for people when they've experienced grief and loss, because getting a good night's sleep is going to help equip you to handle what you have coming at you during the day. So I'm going to share several tools in this video, along with some products that I have found really helpful for restoring sleep. There's a couple of components when we're talking about sleep. It's the idea of having trouble falling asleep in the first place, and then what to do if you wake up in the middle of the night and you have those thoughts that are just keeping you awake. You can't seem to calm your mind down. But first of all, let's talk about a bedtime routine. You know, when you experience grief and loss, from a neurological standpoint, your brain goes into a state of chaos. It's jumping all around from different thoughts and different emotions, and where there was once order, there is now chaos. So the best thing that we can do, both for during your awake hours and for helping you get to sleep, is create structure and order in your day. Our bodies and our minds thrive on order, and they thrive on structure, and they remember patterns. So anything that you can do to create a bedtime routine and pattern is going to help cue your mind like, oh, it's time to go to sleep. So first suggestion is to wake up and go to bed at the same time every day. This is going to help bring stability back to your thinking, stability back to like a little bit of rhythm to your routine. So waking up the same time every day and going to bed the same time every day is going to help tremendously. The second thing is, when you go to bed, to have a bit of a bedtime routine. One of the things I recommend, actually a lot of people recommend, is not watching TV for at least 30 minutes to an hour before you go to bed. Your brain needs that time to just quiet down and slow down and not have constant stimulation right before you go to sleep. So cut out the TV half an hour to an hour before you plan to go to bed, before your bedtime. The other thing that you can do is incorporate some other components to your bedtime routine. So maybe you like to read in bed for a little bit before you go to sleep. Maybe you do an evening yoga or stretching session. Maybe you take a warm shower. Any or all of those are great suggestions, and doing the same thing over and over again, these are cues that you're telling your body that it's time to go to sleep. And after doing it for a few days, your body is going to recognize and say, oh, it's time to go to sleep. So any of those, yoga, stretching, taking a shower, those kinds of things will help you tremendously to go to sleep in the first place. But what happens if you wake up in the middle of the night and your mind is racing and you can't go back to sleep, or you do your routine and you're laying in bed and you can't fall asleep in the first place? A couple quick suggestions for you. One of them is, and everybody has heard this, to count backwards from 100. But I want to encourage you to close your eyes and not only count backwards from 100, but visually see the number in your head. And as you count backwards, if you get stuck on a number and you don't see the number, you have to start back over at 100. The idea here is you just want to take your mind off of whatever the spinning thoughts are that are keeping you awake. If you can give your mind something else to focus on and really concentrate on, it's going to get tired and go to sleep eventually. So counting backwards to 100 and visualizing the number is tip number one. Tip number two, and this is my favorite one, this actually cured me of insomnia and troubles that I had sleeping several years ago. It is to listen to classical music, but pay attention for just one instrument. So play classical music in your room and really try to listen for the violin or the flute or whatever your favorite instrument is. It really causes your brain to have to focus and concentrate, and eventually you're going to get tired and go to sleep. Now, after you do this for a while, pretty soon your brain's going to realize, oh, classical music, we're doing our bedtime routine and we're hearing classical music. And so it'll just help you to go to sleep that much faster. And eventually you can phase out and not need the classical music at all. But that's a really great tip if you are caught up in the middle of the night or you can't go to sleep in the first place. Now I want to talk about some products that might be helpful. One thing is keeping your bedroom really dark and not having a lot of lights. If you do wake up in the middle of the night, don't turn on the TV, don't turn on electronics, don't turn on anything bright. Again, we want to let our mind and body know that it's time to sleep and to instill that. Some other products are, certainly there are teas out there that can help you to calm down and relax and help with sleep. Chamomile tea is a great one, and also lavender tea is another one that is a great sleep aid. So that might be part of your bedtime routine. I'll have some links below for my favorite versions of lavender and chamomile tea. There also are some natural supplements that can help you when it comes to sleep and needing some help with sleep. Melatonin is the most widely known and widely used one, and that's the one that I have used in a pinch when I've needed it. So I'm very familiar with melatonin, but also valerian root is another natural supplement that you can use to help you restore your sleep. And then last but not least, I want to share my favorite thing that I don't have trouble sleeping, but I just love this in general. It's this amazing eye mask that has little audio things in the side. So it can help to shut out the light. Oh, I'm putting it on backwards. It can help to shut out the light, but also you can listen to something. So you can put it, bear with me. You can put it right over your eyes, and it's Bluetooth headphones right here. So you can listen to your classical music, you can listen to a positive message, you can listen to whatever you want while you're sleeping. And if you're having trouble sleeping, like we said, in the middle of the night, that's going to help to keep the light out and have something to be listening to. So I highly, highly recommend this. You actually can also use this to just work out. It can be a headband, and you can use it for listening while you work out as well. It's so fabulous. And I love listening to things while I sleep because I've learned a tremendous amount about our brains and our neurological systems and our conscious mind versus our subconscious mind. And you can be programming your subconscious mind. You can be putting really good information into your mind even while you're sleeping, and your brain is going to collect and store that. So it's an excellent opportunity to fill your mind with good things, whether it be a book, an audiobook, some calming, relaxing music or meditations or scripture or sermons, whatever you want to put in there. But it's great to be listening to something while you're sleeping. So I have given you a plethora of tools to help restore your sleep. Try one, try them all, but it really is imperative when you're going through grief and loss to do everything that you can to get a good night's sleep. That is really going to help you in restoring your energy throughout the day, and just even having the physical and emotional and mental capacity to tackle all of the things that come along with processing through grief and loss, and being able to mourn in a healthy way in order to move through grief and get back to living a life that you love. I hope this video has helped you for this and other tips about grief and loss. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, guys, we'll see ya.